Good morning. Today is Black Friday, June 24th, 2016. Today is Black Friday. Take a look at the market, minus $7.30. Take a look at the volumes, 14.2 million before the open. Take a look at this screenshot taken from my phone at 2:20 a.m. and I was looking at the markets around the world. Take a look. Nikkei, 7.92% down. Hang Seng, Shanghai, DAX, FTSE, the CAC 40, and obviously over here on the West, markets weren't open yet. If you watch my video last night, you will see that I called this drop. This is huge. What happened is that the United Kingdom decided to leave the European Union, and the Prime Minister resigned. Take a look at this. Markets plummet. Britain's Black Friday is here. Now what? UK votes to leave EU. Live updates. Here's another one. Britain votes for Brexit. What happens next? Dow futures down 500 points after UK referendum. This is Brexit. London stocks get crushed. This all happening at 2:27. Gregory Mannarino put a 2-minute video as a shocker. The drop takes us to 203.34. It's even off the charts in here. 203 right here. Pisses me off because I could have entered a position to the downside yesterday on this pattern that I was waiting for so much. I just didn't want to chance it. The upside was so strong. But if you watch my video yesterday, I did say, this is it. This is it. This daily negative divergence that we are seeing here is going to finally topple over that weekly. That weekly has nothing left on it. It's been broken a couple of times. A couple of patterns in here. If you bring in a 2-day chart, it's a double retest now. All we needed was, all I wanted was to introduce a little bit of weakness here on the hourly and then just catch the ride. It pisses me off that it's happening like this. I could have entered a position on the 210s, maybe even the 219s, man. But it's going to be interesting. Here's a look at the pre-market, 734 down. Remember I showed you this on my video yesterday. The price rallied in aftermarket for another dollar and change. And then that 15 got really crazy and the market dropped in post-market $2. And then a further 7.42 in pre-market. That's a $9 move from these highs established in here. This is freaking crazy. Here's a quick glance at CNN. UK votes to exit EU. Cameron to quit. Markets plunge. Live uncertain future as Brexit vote exposes divided Britain. This is what Brexit looks like. Dow futures are trading more than 500 points lower as Euro stocks get pummeled. Biggest losers, Brexit is hitting these companies. Just pause and read. Pause and read. I'm not going to read this for you. Just taking screenshots of what these things look like. You can read. You can pause. Brace yourself for a Black Friday on Wall Street. UK earthquake crushes global markets. You can pause and read if you care. I just don't have time to read the whole thing here. Market's about to open. Britain's Black Friday's here. Now what? Market's about to open, so we'll come back to this, maybe. This is it, 17, 18 million in volumes. Take a look at the drop. It's huge. Here's the picture being taken right now. Boom, come on. Come on, I need to move on to the daily. Thank you. Here we go. Let's take a picture here. Huge. Take a look at that daily. This is what I was afraid of. Take a look at the weekly. Holy shit. Now we have support coming in here. Another thing that I want to bring up to your attention is the fact that on this drop, we formed a very entrenched 2-hour pattern to the upside and a 4-hour. The daily is in upside pressure territory. Can the momentum sustain, or are we going to bounce back? It all depends on the momentum that this thing grabs. The momentum is pretty extreme. Then take a look at the volumes, 21 million. I want to quickly take you to the 219s and see how they jumped had we gotten a position there. 406% on opening. 400% just on opening. We are bouncing back up right away because we have upside pressure patterns everywhere. Take a look. This is the closing yesterday on the 60-minute time lapse. This is the opening. Take a look at that. Weekly, take a look at VXX plus 18%. We're going to go take a look at it right now. Man, I hate that this thing got away from me. Yeah, take a look at the amount of downside printed on that 15. Son of a bitch. Here's the 5-minute. This is the pre-market. There's the opening. Take a look at that. It's huge. Everything drops. 60 drops. 15 drops. 5-minute drops. 1-minute drops. We're bouncing up right away on opening. Let's see how this thing plays out. We haven't even technically bottomed in here yet. I want to go back to the normal stock and see volumes. We're at minus 631, 27.5 million. Here's the next picture. Hang on. So there's the opening, pre-market opening. This is the first 5-minute. The 15 pushes up. The hourly pushes up on the upside. The pattern is sustaining the price, supporting the price. The 5-minute though does drop. It was at minus 41, pay attention, and it went to minus 70. The momentum over here is huge. The 1-minute from minus 41 to minus 155. It's huge. Let's take a look at VXX. Son of a bitch. Can't believe this thing got away from me. Yeah, this is one of those patterns where you have to say, this is it. I mean, it might travel down a little bit more, but this thing has to resolve. Take a look at the 5-minute was already there, and the 1-minute was already there, ready. What I'm doing here is taking out all that range so that we can see what the chart looked like before the drop. Take a look at how this thing started its trek to the downside here. Yeah, this is what made this thing hard, because it dropped till the very end. Then it found stability just at 359. It's an ETF. I could have actually gotten a position in the next 15 minutes because these ETFs, exchange traded funds, trade for another 15 minutes after the entire market closes. So they close at 4:15. I definitely could have, but I didn't. Now take a look at this thing here, already bouncing back. Or you can grab it. But it already pulled back almost 70 cents. I cannot, for some reason I cannot just grab that over there. But it's a pretty significant pullback. Let's take a look at the big picture. Take a look at that daily turning. Remember on my video yesterday, I was specifically telling you about the 2-day chart and how this thing was going to just explode to the upside. Take a look at that. Oh, I was just looking for a little sign of weakening on the down cycle on the hourly. Man, this pisses me off. Very interesting indeed. Take a look at Qs. Look at that continuation. This was nothing more than a pullback on trend. That's what that was. And it ended right there. Pretty interesting pullback already. More than $1. $1.70. 571. Imagine that on opening. That's another thing. On opening, you catch a ride to the upside on say the 204 calls. Take a look at this. It should be more than this. 48.5% return. It's just that the market maker bastards won't let you make that much money on volatile markets like this. But that's 50% on your money. All you have to do is enter the trade and understand that. It's like dropping a tennis ball from a 100-story building. It's going to bounce back up with force. And then remember I showed you the pattern of upside on the 2 and 4 hour charts. Even the daily is on an upside pressure pattern. So that has to play out. Take a look at the 1 minute already technically bottoming. The 5 still has enormous points to the downside, and so does the 15 and hourly. But take a look at how the 15-minute chart has receded. If we take a look at this is pre-market. Take a look at that 15 and how it drops. Boom, well below previously established bottoms. And as we progress every 5 minutes, it shrinks. See how it shrunk from minus 26 to minus 19, and then to minus 14, bringing it pretty much to divergence territory. And now we are at minus 10. Now it is an upside divergence. Patterns like this, I have studied this before, but my level of experience on this is not as extensive to where I feel comfortable just going in and pulling the trigger on a bounce investment like this. But take a look at this. This is pushing $2 already. And now it's at $2.35 for a 67% return here. Right? The thing is that this is one of those patterns that I talk about, the one of two things patterns. One is on the technical bottom over here of the one, the uptrend begins. So that's the one scenario. The other scenario is that you can have a pullback on this trend and retest to create a divergence so that you can undermine and technically bottom the 5. That's the scenario number 2. But usually on a pattern like this that is so entrenched to the upside here, this upside divergence on the 15 that's really entrenched, scenario 1 is really the one that happens. There is going to be a pullback here. There's definitely going to be a pullback. Now take a look at this. If we talk about channel regressions, we are not far away from really painting the channel regression. I think it's very close, maybe eclipsing 206s. I don't think the pullback is going to make it all the way to 207. I just don't think that's in the cards. I don't think that's possible. See? Take a look at this. It's coming right back down. Quick look at these options that we were looking at, now at 69.29%, and take a look at the drop on them by 944, and that is because the trek to the upside ended abruptly, and now this thing is coming down. However, on the uptrend over here, this is a little bit of a channel regression, and then the price is going back off. But take a look at the 15. Holy shit! Take a look at the 15. How on the interval, it really just got slammed. It lost that upside divergence territory that I had. So before the interval plot, the MACD, you could say it's alive and it's reacting to what the price is doing, but the plot gets cemented and it reflects the technical drop that took place. I mean, so it does that. It is still a pretty entrenched upside pressure pattern, but it's no longer a divergence as it was here. And remember, we were at some point at minus 10 and minus 9 just before the plot, the 15-minute plot. Now take a look at how the hourly is doing what the 15 did. It's reacting to the pullback in real time right now, but we are 10 minutes away from this plot, and we're going to see the reality of this thing. It should advance lower. You're going to see that plot come in here soon. Going back to CNN, you can pause and read if you want. This is Brexit. London and European stocks get crushed. Just giving me a little time to read so you can pause. This website is a freaking whore. Take a look at all the advertising around it. These guys are so shitty now. Brexit shock vote, what you need to know. Britain has voted to leave the European Union, a shocking development with profound implications for markets and economies around the world. Again, if you care, pause and read. This is interesting. The big takeaway, this isn't a one-day event. The repercussions on the vote to leave are only just beginning, and it has the potential to upend Europe's established political order. Buckle up. Take a look at this thing at 270. It's already at 92%. There's the marking, and then take a look at this. We got pullback and continuation on this trend. But like I said, I just don't think you can make it any higher than around here. Looking at the possible channel here. It's interesting, the pullback. We passed the this 945. This is 950. The 15 continues to advance. The hourly advances as the price drops a tiny little bit here on the one. The 60 takes advantage of that and plots lower. And now 955, the price starts going up again a little bit, and so the 60 reacts to that. The 15 also reacts to that. The 5-minute continues its trek to the downside. We're on top of the hourly plot coming up interval. Let's see how that takes place. And we wanted to also take a look at Russell. Take a look at Russell over here. Yeah, this thing is just going to plummet. Makes me want to take a look at the 30-minute chart. Yeah, it was in the divergence territory. This is the one of two things pattern. The trend starts here. This is the retest that eclipses previously established tops, but then the price gets slammed. I know this. I should have gotten a position, let me tell you. This is the long-term picture here. See the pullback on trend. The trend has been established over here by the quarterly. This thing pulls back on trend, paints the channel. This thing sustains a pullback and continuation here, which yields this negative pattern on the daily. Then take a look at this thing. This is the one of two things pattern right there. This is just a pullback on trend. Quick pause on what we were doing on Russell. But take a look at the plot over here, 9:55 to 10 o'clock. Take a look at the hourly. See how the hourly continues, like I said? Even the 15 continues from minus 38 to minus 58. Yeah, the drop is huge, man. Here's a look at the larger context. This is the opening, and right now the daily is acting on the pullback that's taking place here, because this thing is not going to plot again until tomorrow morning. And even the weekly reacts to that. So that's interesting. Wow, take a look at this thing. We are hitting the channel regression, and we're making it past 206.50. The upside is huge. It is already technically bottoming the 5, but man, I don't know, that doesn't look like it can really stay there, because the plot at 10, no, I didn't want to go here. The plot at 10 on the 5 was still, now interestingly enough, from 9:55 to 10, the 5-minute didn't move technically, other than the plot is just sideways, but we didn't advance any lower. We stayed at 117 here, minus 117, see? This is a pullback. This thing is running out of steam, although technically the 1 minute has not really dented itself with this thing here to create a marker. So the upside looks like it could continue. This thing made it to $3 for an established 114% return from the open. How about that stuff? Let's go back to Russell. Russell also in this bounce to the upside, but we were looking at how this thing got into motion. I was saying this is a pullback on trend. This is the pattern that puts this thing into motion, and this thing just drops. This is another one of those one of two things patterns. Trend starts here, and you don't have the full retest, you just have a pullback, and that pullback picks up that daily, and the daily turns down from here. Most everybody watching this video, if anybody ventured to stay this long with me, will probably not be able to follow what I'm saying, because this is very advanced technical analysis that unless you've been doing this for a long time, you just don't get it. And then there's diamonds. Pattern over here. Pattern over here. This is the 15-minute that puts this thing into motion. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Now going back to VXX. Wow, take a look at this thing. It already lost half of the surge. Holy shit. The 14 calls. Yeah, I probably would have gone for the 14 calls on VXX. Really. Before I show you the 14 call on VXX, I wanted to show you 114% return. And it went up a little bit more. And now it's being slammed as the price is starting to come back down. See, pullback. I called it. Here's the continuation. Yeah, like I was saying, most people, if you have ventured to watch this much, you're probably already bored. I'm doing this for me as a record, as a study, but if there's one or two guys out there that ever watch this thing and understand what I'm talking about, then you know that this thing is worth its weight in gold, because this is really, at the risk of sounding arrogant, the best technical analysis on the planet, bar none. There they are, 14, 114, no, pardon. There, this is correct, 393% on opening, and then take a look at the decay. Take a look at how this thing is coming right back down. Wow, this is amazing. And if we go back to SPY, we are making it to 207. Here's the first indentation of the technicals over here. This is the very pattern that's going to cap this thing. Can this thing make it all the way back up? Holy shit. Because it is already, what? A $3.50 pullback. If you remember at some point earlier, I said VXX was at 18%, now it's down to 11% only. GDX jumps up as well. This was a pullback on trend. It's interesting how this pullback, now this huge pullback over here took the weekly for a ride. Take a look at that monthly. And so the trek to the upside on gold continues. Next we want to take a look at Freeport. Freeport is dropping like a sack of rocks. The pullback is over. Like I said, see, remember the trend? I was talking about this a couple of days, 3-4 days ago. American Airlines also got slammed in here. This was the pullback on trend. Take a look at the long term. This asphalt on Fastenal also dropped pretty good. That monthly starting to turn. Yeah, take a look. This is a nasty pattern these guys have. The weekly is in free fall. It's just a little bit of support over here. This type of pattern over here says upside. Can these guys have another hooray before the drop? Is that possible? Is that the narrative on SPY? Man, I don't know. SPY definitely doesn't support that. Take a look at how the monthly turned down. on this thing. See how the price can pierce through that? Looks like the pullback is starting to be over, and now we're going to have a continuation. I just don't trust the continuation under this context because we are already in upside divergence territory over here. It's just that we need to slowly turn this guy. If they are going to bring the price back up, it's possible. It definitely is possible. Back on UNG, remember I said 8 on the channel regression, and take a look at the price bouncing back up over here, creating all kinds of support. How about USO? USO coming down as well. I've been calling the drop in oil. Take a look at that. Take a look at this. Yep, that 15-minute upcycle was looking weak. The 5-minute was already capping that continuity to the upside. Taking a look at Gregory Mandarino's position, he bought puts here. Price rallied. I told him, I don't know, you're entering in the middle of a continuation. Now he definitely enjoyed a little bit of success on the drop, but it's bounced back up with incredible force. Can it sustain? Remains to be seen. How about Boeing? We got a position on Boeing to the upside. See what the September 16th 140 calls, and this thing is at 129, so he's definitely losing his shirt. I told him you entered a position at the end of the pullback. Back to SPY. We're hitting the channel regression. How many times I've said the channel regression system is a guideline. It's not a mathematical certainty, but it gives you a good understanding of where the price should hit. I called it at 206.50. We didn't even make it to 207. I think I did say that. We were not going to make it to 207. And there's a continuation going on. The 205 puts are probably going to make good money. Let's see how that works. 12.56. Price has been stepping down here little by little. If we take a look at the 205 puts that I said, take a look at this. They have gone from 60 to $1.44 already for 140% return. I called this, if you remember. Why didn't I participate on it? Because I have lack of confidence and I have a limited amount of reserves on my trading account, so I'm being incredibly careful. But this is just pure, unadulterated understanding of what needs to happen next. Take a look at the poise of that 60 on the drop. Take a look at the 2 hour. Take a look at the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly. This thing is grabbing momentum. This is an interesting pattern on the 5 with a good amount of weakness building up on the 15 that can, at some point, not too far away from now, technically bottom it, and then we have a pullback on this trend. That is a pullback that I would feel more comfortable in participating on a continuation rather than this. The bigger context over here, take a look at how that monthly is turning to the downside. This is huge. I want to see VXX and its return to upside. Incredible. Take a look at how the 15 was basically unaffected and the 5 minutes just flattening over here while the price begrudgingly drifts to the upside. But take a look at the power of that 60-minute pattern. Remember yesterday I said specifically on my video that the 2-day chart was going to explode to the upside. I just didn't have the balls to get on this. It's a damn shame.
Those 236, 235. Take a look at the continuation from 204.75 to below 203.75. Now remember the 205s that I called to the downside earlier? They made it all the way to, first over here to 110, then to 140, and now to $1.61 there for 168%. Wow. The onset of this 1 minute negative divergence that goes completely in sync with the incredible direction and poise of the hourly empowers this thing, along with a 5 minute that just had ran out of steam. This is the one of two things pattern. Trend starts here, that's one thing. Pullback and possible retest to create a divergence to turn the 5 is the second possibility. In this case, we had a retest, and then it takes down the 5, and the price continues, almost reaching, eclipsing levels of the opening. A position on the 204.50 puts in here would have been good. Why didn't I participate in any of this? I am in the middle of a lot of turmoil here. There was a horrendous fight that ensued earlier between me and Alex, one of those epic battles. I have a 25-year-old living in my house that won't leave and walks into my office and corrects me when I'm having a private conversation with my mother and tells me what I should and shouldn't say. It just got ugly. So my life of turmoil is keeping me at bay from breaking through here, really. Let's take a look at the 204 puts. 3 o'clock. Price pulls back with great force. This would have been the entry. The 205, at 205, the 1 minute created a negative divergence that ends the 5 minute rally and picks up on the downtrend controlled by the 60 minute. Negative divergence, end of the rally of the 5, downtrend controlled by the extreme poise and direction of the hour. You have a continuation, slam dunk, 204.50s, you ride that rally, 235 for 108% return. The rally ends here. This is one of two thing patterns, one of two possibilities. The trend to the upside starts here. You have to really consider exiting over here because it formed a divergence on the 5, a divergence on the 15, and furthermore, a divergence on the 10. Why bring the 10 into the mix? Because the divergence on the 5 is a bit wide, and the divergence on the 15 is a little too narrow. So the 10-minute chart will lend itself to give you more clarity. So that rally ends with 100% return. I really should have participated in this, and I saw it. Take a look at the amount of power over here. Let's take a quick look at the 60-minute time lapse. This is the closing yesterday. We ended the day with a 15-minute negative divergence. You can see why I hesitated entering the position. The uptrend was a little too strong. The daily had just turned, and it was a coin toss. But take a look at this opening. Take a look at how that daily violently turns to the downside. The 60 turns. Then 9:30, 10 o'clock. Take a look at that 15 and hourly. 11 o'clock, the hourly. The 15 continues. Take a look at the hourly by noon. Stability coming in on the 15. This pullback and continuation here creates this pattern. And so that is what starts bringing in stability to the 15. And you won't do that. Then 1 o'clock. Look at that hourly. And the daily. Now on opening, the daily went to minus 18. Over here, minus 13, so we're getting close. A little bit of pullback there on the 15. And you have the continuation that we were looking at right here. This gives you the new pattern, and the price finds a little bit of support. So the move to the downside stagnates, and you have a reversal on that trade. 315, continuation. The 15 continues to be prevalent, and that pattern wants to work. But take a look at the poison here. It's just so amazing. And we are now below the opening. Take a look at how these options skyrocketed over here. I still sustain. I would have gotten out over there with double my money. Are you kidding me? That would have been incredible. And that was 139 for 131% return. I don't know what I did here. There, that's more like it. But take a look at this thing. It's going up 155. Now it's 158%. Take a look at the collapse of the price. The poise of the drop is just unbelievable. Take a look at the 2 and 4 hour charts. Wow. It really is quite stunning. See how the weekly has officially turned to the downside? Wow. It's unreal. VXX continues to explode to the upside. We haven't even had a nice 15-minute pullback. The upside is so strong on VXX, and or the drop so strong on SPY. Take a look at Qs. From above 108.50 to below 104.50. That's $4. Here's what the 2 and 4 hour charts look like. Here's the larger context. Weekly turning down, pullback on trend. Pattern over here that I failed to execute. Take a look at that monthly, quarterly. This is a 15-year divergence coming to a head. Look at Russell also coming down over here. Larger context. I can call the 2 and 4 hour charts just to see how they're looking like. Take a look at that monthly. Grabbing the price and trying to slam it. We have a quarterly with direction. First diamonds completely eclipsing the opening now. Take a look at the majestic poise of that hourly. Here's the same pattern that puts this thing into motion to the downside on the continuation. Here's the 2 and 4 hour charts. The weekly pointing down. The daily. Wow. Take a look at that monthly turning. Quarterly. Amazing stuff. If you remember earlier, VXX at 18% and at 10 or something, now it's at 25% on stock. Take a look at GDX. GDX has not been able to eclipse the opening. Has a pattern over here that's keeping this thing at bay. Price definitely eclipsed and it's starting to bounce back up. Take a look at these. 319, 183%. Looking at SPY here on Google, 782 drop. Wow. Very interesting pullback in here. See what I mean? This is the danger of the onset of that entrenched 15-minute pattern. That's why you don't have the luxury of overstaying your welcome. This was good, but in my humble point of view, a little bit of a stretch. I would have been comfortable right here because I already have that 15. What's pushing the downside further is the incredible strength of the trend. I totally get that, but take a look at that. And that leads to this type of pain that takes you even below this exit. And all you do is give them back. I mean, 100% return. You are in heaven, in trading heaven. So here it is. The market ended. We had this rally and then this nasty continuation. But that continuation is just bringing about more price upside support. The drop is beyond powerful. Holy shit. Take a look at that. That's it. I'm glad that I did the video during the day so I don't have to do it after the market. I've been over here next to my computer all the time. Too bad. Family turmoil is keeping me at bay from the good trades here. This is pretty epic. What's going on here? Another thing is, take a look at how this weekly comes up all the way over here, and on the drop, it will more than likely try to meet support. So we'll see how that plays out. Quick glance at VXX. VXX had a pullback over here. Wow, just unbelievable. So that's it. It's going to be Monday, June the 27th. Until then.